good, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back again with a brand new video. And I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. You can call me Wanda Maximoff, because at this point, I am desperate to see the vision that the Carolina Panthers have in the 2021 NFL Draft.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
As you guys know, with our first round pick, we did go J.C. Horn. Second round pick, we did go Terrace Marshall Jr. So, cornerback, wide receiver in our first two picks in the draft. If you've been following me for a while now, you understand that I have been begging for this team to find protection for our quarterback. Keep in mind, historically, we've never really had a very good O-line. There's been stretches where we've had a decent O-line, but we've never really had a very, very good O-line. But if we think about things in the more recent past, we have not had a consistent left tackle since Jordan Gross, and that man retired after the 2013 season. We have had a carousel, a rotation of left tackles over and over and over again. We have given bad contracts. We have moved up in the draft to pick up players who have not shown promise consistently. And we look at Cam Newton, a player who I think was great. I think he could have been a generational talent quarterback, but was never given a consistently good O-line. Also didn't have weapons, but that's a whole different story. And you saw him get hurt over and over and over again. And we can say maybe it's because he was a guy who was a rusher and he just actually trucked linebackers. But you saw that a lot of times he got hurt was when he was actually in the pocket still. So Cam had a kind of rough break, and then we saw Teddy Bridgewater last year. He was a bad quarterback regardless, honestly. He wasn't that great. But the O-line still wasn't good for him, and that was the best O-line we've had in years. So you understand my frustration when the team decided to not address offensive line in either of the first two rounds. But in round number 3, after 2 trade downs, the Panthers trade up 3 picks. With the Eagles, they give up number 73 and then a 6th round pick, 191, to move up to pick number 70 to get Brady Christensen, the left tackle out of BYU, the PFF darling. Everyone loves Brady Christensen. 6'6", 300 pounds. I'm going to throw up these tweets and show you what PFF had to say about Brady Christensen. Highest career run blocking grade in the 2021 draft class, Penei Sewell, number 1 at 94.8. Landon Dickerson from Bama, 93.9. Brady Christensen at number 3, 91.2. The next picture. Best 2020 pass blocking grades among OTs in this draft. Number 1, Brady Christensen, 95.2. Number 2, Elijah Vera Tucker, who's a guard, 92.8. Number 3, Christian Darrisaw, 90.8. Number 4, Sam Cosmi, 90.7. Brady Christensen is a smooth, let's say, 2.5 points above the number 2 player in pass blocking in this draft. Now, Elijah Vera Tucker, I think, is going to be more of a guard than a tackle, but he's on the list regardless. And then this next tweet right here, lowest QB pressure percentage by an OT since 2014. Brady Christensen in 2020, 0.8%. 0.8% pressure allowed on his quarterback all year. That sounds amazing to me. And then the 4th tweet here is from Will Bryan. Brady Christensen set a PFF record for highest grade ever, 96.0 by an O-lineman in 2020, beating Penei Sewell's 2019 grade. So, judging from all these things that I'm hearing from PFF, all these records, number one, and the worst thing he was number 3 in the run game, you would have thought that Brady Christensen was going to be, graded above Penei Sewell. Tevin Jenkins, any of these, I don't know, Rashawn Slater, any of these tackles. I didn't see Rashawn Slater's name anywhere on these lists. Did you? Did you see Rashawn Slater's name anywhere on those lists? I'm trying to figure it out. Why wasn't Brady Christensen a first-round pick? Why wasn't Brady Christensen a second-round pick? Why did Brady Christensen fall to the 70th overall pick? Now, before y'all get to commenting, I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's going to start hating again. Oh, this boy, he going to start hating on this man right here. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him about the grades. All I'm saying is, if you have the best ever grades for a tackle, the top grades in pass protection in 2020 in your draft class. You are number 3 in run blocking grades from PFF. Explain to me how you fall to the 3rd round when we saw a run of 4 tackles go in the first. There was a bunch of tackles taken in the 2nd. So why exactly was Brady Christensen dropping to the 3rd round in the draft? The answer is pretty simple. 1, his size is a question. He came into college at 250. He's now 300, but the size doesn't really work the same way. He doesn't have the same kind of functional strength that he showed at his pro day. At his pro day, he had crazy numbers. His 40 time looked good. Broad jump looked really good too. His vert was great. Even his bench press was amazing. He was a workout warrior. But a lot of times that functional strength does not show up on the field. And I know the biggest thing people talk about when they talk about BYU players is this year, where was the competition? I think that is actually lazy analysis. I'm not going to say that the lack of competition is what holds players back, because if a guy is a baller, he is a baller, right? And a lot of times you see guys at the college level who are just better athletes than the people they go up against. And when you're in college, being the better athlete works. All you have to do is have better athletic skills, and you can have problems with your form. You can have problems with inefficiency in the way you work out, the way you do things on the field. At the NFL level, you have to work on those things and get better, but that does not make you a not good prospect to get drafted in the league. If you have insufficiencies that you can control, then that still makes you a very, very good prospect. Now, if you have insufficiencies that you can't control, then that's going to be a pretty big problem. And that's the biggest problem with Brady Christensen. He can't control how long his arms are. The dude has very small arms. He has short arms. It just comes up everywhere. His arms are very, very short. And that's a problem for left tackle. With these guys in the NFL, look, forget about the competition that the BYU went against in the season. I don't care about any of that. Forget all that. These dudes at the NFL level are the best of the best. They will take advantage of you time after time. These more athletic defensive ends, these more athletic pass rushers playing linebacker are going to abuse this man just based off of how long his arms are. But it's not just that. And it could just be that. Even just with him having shorter arms, it could be enough of a problem to make him not really a left tackle. But he also has problems with the timing of his punch. When he gets his initial punch wrong, he times it too early or too late. He can easily get swiped down, and then those inside moves are his biggest problem. Those inside athletic moves can beat him consistently, and at that point, you're just a liability at left tackle. At that point, it's such a problem because then compounded onto that, there are questions about his balance. And when you have shorter arms, you try to overcompensate and lean in or try to get in a little bit earlier to say, okay, I'm making the first move here. But that can also be manipulated. That can also be taken advantage of by these better edge rushers in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that Brady Christensen is a bad pick. I'm not saying he has no business in the NFL. I'm explaining why Brady Christensen, who had all those great grades, fell to the 3rd round, and why nobody had him as a 1st round prospect or a 2nd round prospect. And there were even some draft experts, if you even call what's a draft expert? What's a draft expert? But scouts and analysts and whatnot who are saying he may even go very, very early 4th. There are some things that need to be fixed with this man's game that might not even keep him as a left tackle. And that's another problem. He's not even actually being projected to definitely be a left tackle. There are people saying he should play right tackle. There's some saying that, no, just don't put him at tackle at all. Have him on the inside where those problems won't become as big of an issue. His arms are too short for a tackle, but as a guard, he can work out well there. So our biggest need is left tackle. And Brady Christensen is not even a guy who analysts and experts can even all agree that he's at that position. They don't even agree that he should be playing that position. Now, that's where he has the most experience at. But I'm a bit worried about a guy who has problems with mechanics, a bit of a problem with size, and his arm length, which can't be fixed. is just a natural hindrance to him at the left tackle position. And then you pair that up with he's already 24, right? He's 24 right now. As you guys know, you go to BYU, you're Mormon, you go on your mission trips. He went to New Zealand. He was there for 2 years. So he's 24 right now. His birthday is September 27th, which means he will be 25 when the season starts. Most NFL prospects or rookies come in at 21 or 22. By the time his rookie deal is over, he will be 29 years old. He's already 24, going to be 25, week 2, week 3 this season? He's already an older prospect who needs help, who needs time to develop. This is a move that, at this point, I don't hate. I actually like the pick because, hell, you got to get an O-lineman somewhere. You got to go O-line at some point. I need someone to go O-line, and he's the best available who can play left tackle. So I'm not sitting here hating on Brady Christensen. I'm explaining why he fell so far, despite having all those very, very good athletic grades, the blocking grades, PFF. I know y'all love PFF. PFF is the end-all, be-all of grading players, ain't it? It's the end-all, be-all of grading players, ain't it? All I'm saying is Brady Christensen has some major issues he needs to work out, and I'm not all that sure he is a day one starter at tackle. That's why I graded the Terrace Marshall pick an F. I don't think Terrace Marshall as a player is an F, but I think when you have huge problems at left tackle, you need to find a guy who is definitely, number one, a left tackle. Number one, a guy who scouts can all agree on is a left tackle, but number two can be a day one starter at that position. Everyone says that Christensen is a developmental guy who might not even be playing left tackle when all said and done. So you're really looking at guys like Greg Little to be that guy for you. And I know y'all love Greg Little, and I know y'all believe that Greg Little can play a 17-game season while staying healthy. I know that. But the good thing about Christensen is that he will have time. He will have, I think, a good coaching staff. And it seems to me that the coaching staff is just married to Taylor Moton, Matt Paradis, Cam Irving, Pat Elflein. We're looking at Greg Little. We're looking at Dennis Daly. So I think that they believe those guys are the guys for this year, and that at some point, maybe Brady can come in and start for him, or we just wait for a full year and he develops and we can have him. But I'm thinking at some point, Brady, he has to come in. He's probably going to start at some point, and it feels really weird to understand and acknowledge you have a huge need at O-line and not address it to the third round where you trade it down and trade it back up. So I'm going to say, based off this pick alone in a vacuum, this is a B- pick. I think that Brady Christensen can have a good career. I think he can become a good O-lineman. It's all there. But I'm not quite sure if he's a day one starter, and all of my criticism about him is put into the lens of, can he be a day one starter or not? And why do we believe the guys who are already on our O-line are the best options for us to move forward with Sam Darnold playing quarterback? Like I said, B- for me right here in a vacuum for Brady Christensen, but I would have gone for an O-lineman in the second round. I can't hate the pick because at least we got an O-lineman. I thought we were going to go, I don't know, anything. I thought we might have drafted Sarah Fuller. I thought we had a good chance to draft Sarah Fuller here. So I'm just glad we did pick up Brady Christensen, man. B- for me. And keep in mind that while he may not be a career left tackle, this still could be a very good guard or maybe even a right tackle for the team. So there is some upside to this pick wherever he ends up going. And him being 24 could be a good, maturity boost, right? He could just be a very mature player and a guy you don't have to worry about getting in trouble. There are some very good things about Brady Christensen. My only problem isn't with him, really. It's with where we picked an O-lineman. I don't go into the draft expecting to find starter-level O-lineman in the third round, and I just believe that we needed starter-level O-lineman, and us getting him in the third isn't a knock on him. I'm just identifying what we did pick up, and that we might have to temper expectations when it comes to when September hits, who's playing. And if he is playing, If he is starting, that's more of an indictment on the players we already have on our roster than it is a boost about this man, Brady Christensen, already being NFL ready. We'll see, though. We will most definitely see. That's how I feel about it, though. What are y'all's thoughts? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.